Obviously, based on the title of my channel name, you're going to know that I, of course, collect Hot Wheels. But Hot Wheels is not my only passion. My second passion is, of course, trains. I have HO scale model trains, I have a bunch of Thomas trains, I even made one out of cardboard. Come on, how can you say it's not cute? And I also have this ceramic train piggy bank with a wobbly funnel. I just call it a choo-choo bank for some reason. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Instead, I'm going to be talking about all the odds and ends that I have, all that involve trains. So if you want me to do an odds and ends on Hot Wheels vehicles, or basically just any diecast brand that's been obscure, please let me know. Overall, I have like a bunch of unknown train brands or something. But anyways, let's take a look at these random items and finally show them the light of day. Now, in order to be considered a odd or end, it either has to be obscure, or I don't have all the pieces, or it's not worth talking about, or even some that are just one-time only things from amusement parks or something. Firstly, let's start off with a Boomer's Hot Wheels, known as Tootsie Toy. Tootsie Toy are well known for their line of tin toy cars or something like that. But however, during their time, they've made quite a lot of train sets. And apparently, this lineup of 3 rolling stock, that being a boxcar, a tanker car, and a caboose, all came from this set that came with a Pennsylvania Railroad K4 steam locomotive. And it also came with a flat car, but I don't have that, and I don't know if those two were scrapped or not. I would like to get my hands on those someday. Firstly, we're going to talk about the boxcar in a simple red and orange livery. It comes with a ATSF lettering on the side along with the Santa Fe logo. But then there's a lettering that says the route of El Cabilon. I don't know. Then the other side says Ship and Travel Santa Fe all the way. Unfortunately, the front coupler is broken. So let's just move along to the tanker car. Next up is the tanker car. It has a silver and red color scheme. And it also has the number 9853 on the sides. Unfortunately, just like the boxcar, the front coupling is broken. The final piece of rolling stock I have here is this caboose. Of course, it's the only one to actually have a functioning front coupler out of the lot. And it also says Tootsie Toy Railroad on the sides. Nothing much to say. Overall, this little collection of cars really makes me want to collect the rest of the Tootsie Toy Railroad range. Shame that, I won't be able to find these easily at a flea market unless my grandparents are lucky enough to own them. I would like to collect them someday. Overall, the Tootsie Toy Railroad lineup is actually really consistent lineup of trains, rolling stock, you name it. It's really comprehensive for a small toy line. Now here's a familiar name, Matchbox, that Mattel owns. But what if I told you Matchbox Lesney actually made trains well before the Harry Potter Hogwarts Express locomotive? You see, back in around 1978, as part of their Super Fast line, they released a lineup of trains for their toy line. There were passenger cars, freight cars, and 3 locomotives. And the locomotives in question are a red tank engine with a 040 wheel arrangement, a small 040 diesel shunter, and a surprisingly realistic looking 060 pannier tank from the Great Western Railway. And sadly, those are the only locomotives that were ever released in the lineup, as 2 out of the 3 locomotives will get multiple repaints and recolors over the years. But these ones are the originals, and I have 2 of the tank engine and 1 of the diesel locomotive. Of course, due to their age, they are pretty beat up, but overall, they're still really charming. Firstly, we're going to take a look at the diesel shunter. In case you didn't know, the diesel shunter is a heavy beast. And you might have also noticed that all of its details are actually completely molded onto the model. And one fun little feature on these engines is that the rear coupling is actually extendable, making it a lot easier for you to couple up other pieces of rolling stock onto the model. So if you want a heavy-duty diesel shunter, I see this is a heavy-duty diesel shunter for you. The next one I have are these tank engines. This tank engine here in particular was actually belonged to my uncle, so it's a highly sentimental item to me. Besides that, it's a really nice and cute simple design that kind of reminds me of Thomas the Tank Engine well over a few years before the show even aired. But the one that I have, the rear coupling is now completely loose as I had to yank it out of the body, which caused the rivet to, well, how do I put this? Be separate from the chassis. Overall, this little lineup is pretty cool, and just like the Tootsie Toy line, it's really worth picking up. Plus, they're pretty surprisingly affordable, even the Pannier tank engine. Cool. For popular toys, there are bound to be some knockoffs, such as this Mitch Toy knockoff American set. This locomotive, in case you didn't know, was supposed to be a 440 American type locomotive, but instead they portrayed it as a 240. Overall, everything else on the locomotive remains the same. It's just cheaply assembled at the factory, I believe. The wheels surprisingly roll pretty okay. Next up is the tender. And just like the locomotive is cheaply assembled, but unlike the locomotive, it's basically a carbon copy of the Mitch Toy original. Same thing goes for the baggage car and the passenger car. They all connect with a simple hook and loop mechanism, which is simple, but prepare to leave your train behind like this. Next up we have this locomotive that is from the Southern Pacific, made by High Speed Metal Products. The tanker car has sadly lost an axle a few years ago, but I don't care because it's just a hump of plastic anyway. Same goes for the locomotive, but to add some weight, they added a metal weight in between the trucks. That's kind of cool, and plus I heard that it's meant to be N scale, but I don't have any track on N scale, so I can't confirm. And here is a locomotive that actually appeared in the Odds and Ends video by Maybe Train Enthusiast. Link in the description. It is this 080 consolidation steam locomotive from the Shell Company. This was some sort of promotional item released for Shell and gas stations back in 1995, as they were manufactured by the Fletcher, Barnhart, and White Incorporated. And like what MTE said, he explained that this would later get a re-release with 2 new flat cars and some NASCAR diecast in 1997 before disappearing off the shelves for good. You may have noticed some additional details are painted on there. I actually did that all by myself, just so that way I can give this locomotive a little bit more realism here. And to be fair, the silver smoke box stands out a lot better compared to a black smoke box. Oh, one more thing. I have this caboose too, so nothing else to say. Sorry if I'm not recording this in pre-production anyway. And here's another repainted unfamiliar sight. It is the military-themed Floor Flyer, released by Gearbox Toys back in 2005. Not so much to say on this models, but I like the fact that it included a bit of variety. We got 2 steam locomotives, we got a tender, a tanker car, a flat car with a truck, and a caboose. All of them themed around the United States Army. But like I said, with the Shell steam locomotive, I repainted this entire set myself quite a few years ago, and I now say I regret doing that. And surprisingly, the hook and loops and coupling system really matched the knockoff that I have earlier, so you can make a longer train. Overall, the Floor Flyer is a decent set, but like I said, it's a Floor Flyer. That means it comes with no track. So I give this one a chance. And here's one more train that I got recently, the Hersheyland Express. This is a promotional item released as exclusively at Hersheyland, and of course, it is made to promote the Hersheyland Great Candy Expedition ride. The locomotive in question is a 464 Hudson steam locomotive with a lot of creative liberties taken on this engine. And honestly, the design on both the artwork and the model looks very, very cool. And I mean very cool. The box is pretty simple and even included promotional art of the locomotive in the back. But besides that, the rest of the box is pretty normal. So as for the content of the locomotive and the set, we got a steam locomotive and tender, we got a Reese's Peanut Butter boxcar, a Hershey's Kisses boxcar, and a Twizzlers boxcar. And of course it has the normal hook and loop mechanism. One thing that really makes this locomotive stand out is that it's actually a cab forward design, mostly because the steam cylinders are located in the rear instead of the front like most steam locomotives normally are, even fantasy steam locomotives. So not only this is the first ever cab forward fantasy steam locomotive to ever exist in diecast form, but the locomotive was only featured in the artwork, while the boxcars are all creative liberties created by the designers who made this train set. Overall, this set is one of the best recent additions to my collection, really. Definitely a solid 10 out of 10 for me.